Hello there, I'm just Richo and welcome to This Month in Movies. Today we're looking at DVD and Blu-ray releases of October 2016, so why don't we get right into it.
Let's get to it.
Like I always say, these are just Australian DVD and Blu-ray releases. I know there are movies that are already out in the States on home video or haven't come out yet, or just like haven't even screened there yet. And like I always say, these are just my thoughts and opinions. There are definitely movies that came out that I just didn't like, or I just don't recommend, or I didn't get to see and didn't hear enough to recommend. But first off, why don't we start with the first week of October, and we have Central Intelligence. Now, this is a movie that I was honestly expecting to be bad. Like, I thought the trailer wasn't funny, and the CG Fat Rock I found really creepy and not funny at all. But it's actually surprising in a way. It's still kind of generic, but it's actually handled rather well, and there's really funny moments in it. The main problem with it is that it becomes an action movie. Because the relationship between Kevin Hart and The Rock is the most interesting part, and they really make it work. And I thought it was like a decently done film. The action's not like amazing. It's not gonna be like Mad Max or The Raid or anything, but it's decently done enough. And I thought the cast did a really good job. It won't blow you away, but it's a pretty decent kind of action comedy if you're looking for that. I give it 3 stars. It's not a bad film at all.
Do you remember those backflips you used to do? Let's do the flip.
Also, in the first week of October, we have Everybody Wants Some. This, of course, is the latest film from Richard Linklater, who is a director I really like, and he makes really great films that aren't necessarily narrative-driven, and that's what you get with Everybody Wants Some. It's kind of a spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused, and it's kind of like from his perspective, like seeing the kind of college life around him back in the day, which was definitely different from now. And Richard Linklater does these kind of ensemble movies really well. Like, he knows how to handle character, he knows how to make them distinct enough from each other. He is fantastic with dialogue and can always make it amusing and engaging. And visually, I thought the cinematography was really, really great. Linklater has a really good eye for visuals, but not in like a crazy kind of stylish way. And it's really just the way the story needs to be told. Soundtrack's great as always. Linklater is always fantastic with soundtracks. And the cast is great. It's a whole lot of like newcomers, and they all do really good jobs. And the characters are a bit quirky, and some of them might be a bit grating. And you're not supposed to love these characters, but you can kind of get them, even if you do, even if they're people you wouldn't be friends with if you were in college. This is a film that is very much about men and masculinity, and just kind of like how that is when it's cramped up in one kind of like house. And so yeah, there's definitely some stuff in it that these days isn't really acceptable, but you can get it from the time that they're kind of trying to execute. Like, it makes sense. And I just thought it was a pretty enjoyable film. You have entertaining characters and situations, and even though it's not narrative driven, it wasn't long, and I thought it was really well paced as well. So I give it 4 stars.
I'm pretty sure that is a new school record.
Finally, in the first week of October, we have the Blu-ray release of The Iron Giant. It's been a bit of a long road for The Iron Giant to get on Blu-ray, but it finally is here, and I know if you've seen it, you know how amazing it is, and if you haven't, it's fantastic. It is a great animated film, and it's one that you definitely need to check out if you haven't. I don't want to say much, but like, there are parts like of this movie that you've seen before because of movies that have kind of come from it, but the thing is, like, this film it's just something really special, and you definitely need to check it out, especially on Blu-ray. I'm sure it'll look fantastic. And this is a film that, of course, was directed by Brad Bird, who did The Incredibles and Ratatouille, and he's a really good filmmaker. He did the Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, and he knows what he's doing. And this is just a really nice kind of film with a lot of heart and emotion behind it, and I definitely recommend checking it out. I gave it 4.5 stars, so definitely recommend.
Giant?
Oh, God.
Also in week 1 of October, we have Maggie's Plan. Now, the only disappointing thing about this is that it's only coming out in Australia on DVD, not Blu-ray, which has me really annoyed because the cinematography in this film is fantastic. For a small indie film, it's really great. The compositions, the visuals, the camera movement are fantastic, and it's very disappointing that it's only coming out on DVD here. And it's just a great movie as well. It's in my top 10 of the year so far. There's definitely a lot more movies to come, but I really enjoyed the hell out of this. It's kind of like a screwball kind of comedy and just a back and forth. I mean, you have Greta Gerwig, Ethan Hawke, Julianne Moore, and they're all fantastic. Travis Fimmel has a really small role, and Maya Rudolph and Bill Hader are also in small roles, and the cast is great, and the film is hilarious. I absolutely love it. And yeah, I love Greta Gerwig as an actress and like kind of what her style is. I think she's fantastic, and I thought Maggie's Plan was really well done, and I really enjoyed the hell out of it. It's a good looking film, and it's a well written film, and it just all comes together really, really well. And this is a film that it just made me feel good when I was watching it. And I don't know if you did see my review, like I had recently like been in a car accident and stuff, but this film, and then I saw this film and it just made me happy when I didn't really have that many reasons to be happy, and that's how good this film is. And I gave it 4.5 stars, and I stand by that. It's a great little comedy that I definitely recommend checking out.
I've decided to embrace the mystery of the universe and stop bossing everybody around so much.
Good luck with that, Bossy Pam.
In the second week of October, we have Pop Star Never Stoppin'. Now, this film actually didn't come out in cinemas in Australia, and I was really disappointed by that because I was really looking forward to it because the trailers look hilarious and I really wanted to see it. I love Andy Samberg and the Lonely Island guys and mockumentaries, and I'm just kind of glad we missed out on it, but it's finally here on DVD and Blu-ray, so I can definitely check it out now. I've heard good things, it's got good reviews, so I'm excited to see it, and maybe you'll get a good laugh out of it too, so check it out.
Connor surrounds himself with people who are agreeable.
Also in the second week of October, we have Mr. Right. Now, this film I haven't seen either, and I know it's gotten a mixed response, but it's a Max Landis script in the vein of Grossly Point Blank with Sam Rockwell and Anna Kendrick, and I love both these guys, and I'm keen to check it out even though reviews have been mixed. People say it's still kind of entertaining, so I'm interested to check it out. It's not really a recommend, but more like I'm curious, and I hope I enjoy it.
Just realized I don't know his name.
Who, Mr. Right?
Yeah, Mr. Right.
And lastly, for the second week of October, we have Ghostbusters 2016. Now, I know feelings on this movie are very divided. Like, there wasn't really a reason to remake Ghostbusters, but they were going to do it anyway, and though I know there's a lot of people that hate this movie, there's a lot of people that really love this movie, I think this movie is just okay. I don't think it's a great movie at all, but I don't think it's bad, and I found a lot to enjoy in it. It's a very different type of comedy from the original one. The original was kind of like dry wit. This one's more zany in its comedy, and it's directed by Paul Feig. And I like his work. I don't think he's amazing. He hasn't done anything to blow me away yet, but I think he's a decent director. And of course, I'm sure you know the cast: Leslie Jones, Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, Kate McKinnon, and Chris Hemsworth. There's stuff to like in it. There's stuff that it doesn't work as much, and the pacing is a bit long. It just feels a bit slow. There's definitely some problems in it, and the last third of it gets too blockbustery. That I didn't think it really worked as well as it could have, but I still thought it was a decent film, not a bad one, and I gave it 3.5 stars. And thinking about it, it's probably more of a 3 now in my mind.
Don't piss off the ghost. Really?
In the third week of October, we have Swiss Army Man. It's just magic. It's a great movie, and I absolutely loved it. There's a lot to go into. It's a whole lot of magic. It really is. It's a weird film. And it's definitely not normal, and it's Paul Dano with a dead body of Daniel Radcliffe just doing things, and kind of like it's exploring like why why should we keep living? Like, what's the point? And it's a bit existential, but it's also incredibly hopeful. And that kind of is my point of view. Like, I'm kind of like a cynical person, but I'm also really hopeful. And this film's just really, really well done. It was directed by these two guys who are both called Daniel, so they call themselves the Daniels. And it was really, really well handled. Like, visually, the cinematography is gorgeous, and they used a whole heap of formats. The slow motion's really cool. And just the idea, the concept is wildly original, but this film also happens to be very personal, and you're able to connect to it on an emotional level really well. And the music is fantastic. The soundtrack is probably my favorite soundtrack of the year, and it's just great. This film is basically a musical, because the characters singing it, and it's basically a musical with farts, and the farts jokes actually kind of work, and surprisingly, and it's just a really well put together film. The editing, the cinematography, the acting, Paul Dano's amazing. Daniel Radcliffe does a really great job with a really hard role, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead shows up for a little bit, and she's good too. And it's just a really well put together film that is just so original and entertaining. It's hilarious and heartbreaking, and it's just kind of life in a way. And I really enjoyed it about this film, and I highly recommend checking it out. It's definitely weird. It might not be for everyone, but it's one of my favorite movies of this year, and I definitely recommend checking it out. 4.5 stars.
This is just the beginning.
Also in the 4th week of October, we have Equals. Now this is a film that I haven't seen, but I'm a big fan of Jake Dromis, I think is how you say his name's work. He did like Crazy, Breathe In, which I really liked. There are a few people are mixed on, and I think this film is a little bit mixed as well, but I really like his films and his styles. He's very intimate in his approach, and I like these actors, Nicholas Hoult and Kristen Stewart. She can be really good in the right hands, but she's not in Twilight. She's actually really great in some indie films, so I'm keen to check it out, and I love the cinematography of this film from the trailer, so I'm gonna definitely check it out, and maybe you might be interested in it as well. It kind of reminds me of George Lucas's first film.
Just remember what this feels like.
Also in the last week of October, we have Our Kind of Traitor. Now this is a film I was really annoyed I missed, but it came out at a time when I was working on a few short films with some people, and so I just didn't have time to go see it, and I was really annoyed because I'm a big fan of John le Carré. I love Tinker Tailor Soldier by the book and the movie, and so I was really keen to check it out, but I didn't have time. But now I can finally check it out on DVD and Blu-ray, and I'm really keen. It's gotten good reviews. Yeah, I have Ewan McGregor, Stellan Skarsgård, and I'm really keen to check it out. Naomi Harris is in it as well, and I've heard good things, so I'm really keen to check it out. Maybe you might be too. Some old-fashioned kind of spy thriller, why not? I enjoy those, so I'm checking it out.
I can't guarantee your safety. They'll be coming after you.
Then you better hurry.
And lastly, for October 2016, we have Goldstone. Now, Goldstone is kind of an Australian kind of mystery western, and it's gotten really good reviews. I've heard lots of great things about it, and I think you should definitely go out and support good Australian films. So I'm definitely going to check it out. I missed it in its very limited run when it was in cinemas because I was a bit busy, but I'm keen to check it out now that it's home video, and maybe you might be too. So support some Australian film, guys.
Now here we are being civilised to one another, but you and I both know things are going to change sooner or later.
And so that's all the time we have for today. If you get to see any of these films I've talked about and have any thoughts on it, feel free to comment below. My Facebook page, like that, comment there, follow me on Twitter, and don't forget to subscribe. But anyway, like I always say, these are just my thoughts and opinions, and the other films that came out that I just don't recommend or I didn't see and didn't hear enough about. But if you want to talk about them, feel free to mention them below, and maybe I'll give you my thoughts on them in the comments. But anyway, this has been this month in movies for October 2016. I'm just Rich It's J Productions, and just get out there and watch good movies.